The Kaisa players are swarming the local game stores, guys. I have gone to another Nexus Night, and I have finally gone up against multiple Kaisa players now at this time. It seems like people are finally opening up those packs and building the tier 1 deck, and I think I've finally figured out why it's the tier 1 deck now. But yes, guys, I've gone to another Nexus Night. If you watched my last video, I went over pretty much my breakdown of the deck that I brought, and I really didn't make much changes compared to the last video to this one for the deck I built, except for I did make one change, and I pretty much added Find Your Center, this card, and I swapped out the On Guard. On Guard was pretty much a 1-cost green card where you give a unit +1 might, and then if it's attacking or defending alone, you get an additional +1. I took that out because most of the time my units weren't really attacking by themselves or defending by themselves, and I added this one in because it was pretty much a draw 1 and channel 1 rune, and it cost 2 less if your opponent's victory points are within 3 points of winning. And from the last Nexus Night I went to, I would pretty much fall behind early on in the game, and so they would get a bunch of points and they'd usually be within that 5 to 7 point range, and so I figured this would be a pretty good use. And to be honest, I don't actually know if it was that good. I did use it, but it was never in the sense of like, oh, for ramping. Like I figured even if they weren't within the 3 points to get the reduced cost, if it was on my first turn and I was going second, you could still play this. And I figured this card was better than the Mobilize, because the Mobilize is pay 2 and just pretty much exhaust channel 1 rune. This one is pay 1 additional rune, and you get to draw an additional card, and also has the caveat if they are within that 3, then it costs 1. So it just seemed like an overall better card than this. I still ran 3 of these, but in terms of ramping, I figured it would help, and I just didn't think the On Guard was that good. So yes, I did go up against Kaisa players today. I still went Lee Sin, obviously. My first game, I went up against a Kaisa player, and it wasn't really close at all. I think I got a couple points, but I actually had a pretty big battlefield with pretty much Lee Sin, Caitlyn, and Udyr. So pretty much my main strategy of controlling one battlefield with my main guys and pretty much using Udyr and Caitlyn just attack the other battlefield from afar. But they pretty much summoned the 1,000-eyed Watcher, or I'm not sure if I'm saying it right, but pretty much the 7 cost, which you can pay an additional 1 to accelerate, and it pretty much makes all enemy units -3 might, which was insane. So it took out that card, and then just one other unit that was like 4 might took out this, because pretty much they all got dropped down to -3 to minimum 1, and that was enough because then they pretty much had 10, and I don't know, if you do the math, it's like crazy numbers on how much it is, and I didn't think that card was that good, but the fact that it also, the turn you can play it, you can accelerate it too. So that card really caught me off, and pretty much from that point I wasn't able to recover because they pretty much just destroyed all my units, which I thought I had a really good grip on the battlefield, but I guess I did not. So lost against the first Kaisa player. Second game I went up against was actually against a Jinx player, and that one really wasn't too hard. The strategy of controlling one battlefield and just having an Udyr or Caitlyn be annoying from one battlefield and just taking over seemed to work against them. They ran, even though Jinx is all about drawing additional cards when you're low in your hand, they still ran out of cards really fast, and they just seemed to like not have as much power later on in the game, where my cards are just way too strong, and then having some good defies or charms pretty much made them have no steam at all. So I really didn't have a problem with the Jinx. I will say they had, in all the matches I went up against, I saw Darius, and Darius seems to be really strong because it's pretty much, I think it's a 5 cost for 5 might, and then if you just play a second card, you're readying him, and then he's now 7 might. So every single game I actually played against was against a Darius. The only thing against when I played the Jinx card is they played Darius, and then they didn't use his ready to go into battlefield. They just kept it in their base. So I actually was able to charm it to my battlefield before they could actually use it properly. And that's kind of what the deck is all about. It's pretty much, making them use their units for their ready, or me just being able to pop them with Udyr or Caitlyn. Third matchup, another Kaisa player. This time, they didn't actually use the 7 cost that reduce all the might. They just had, you know, too much tempo with all their spells. They were killing my monsters before they even come to the battlefield. They also had their Darius. They pulled multiple Dariuses on me, which was just, it's not something that, you know, they play it from their hand and then they're ready to move in with it. And I feel like my cards are more of reactionary in the sense of I'm waiting for them to play a unit and then I can kind of react to it. Where Darius is just, you know, ready instantly, kill my stuff, and unless I have some sort of reaction in my hand to protect it, which in this deck I actually pretty much gutted all my reactionary stuff. So maybe I need to put those back in. I'm not sure, but yeah, I pretty much just got manhandled by a Darius a couple times, and I was never able to really stabilize one battlefield to then, you know, do my game of, you know, Caitlyn and Udyr. Weirdly enough, on both Kaisa matches, I did start off with this card, and I thought this card would really, this card and Kiana, because this pretty much gives all my buffed units deflect, and Kiana just has deflect on it. I don't think you can slow down the Kaisa decks, even if you really try to. Even with this card, which pretty much gives all buffed units deflect, even though I had that, I just didn't feel like I could slow them down. And so I just feel like trying to slow them down is impossible. But the thing that I do think you could possibly win by is just by card advantage. I will say on both my Kaisa matches, towards the end, they were winning, but they were running out of cards. So if I could somehow keep it going and just kind of go 1-for-1 with cards, I think this deck probably has more value than the Kaisa deck does. So just letting them spend as much mana as they want, but then just over time having more value may be the way to go about it. I'm not sure. I've only, you know, done a couple Nexus Nights this time, so I'm still learning. One thing that did, you know, one positive, which, you know, I don't think I'm going to run these in the deck. I was able to trade for Tarek, so these are more just for my own collection because I kind of just wanted to have 3 of all the champion units just because I'm super into it. Got my 3rd Udyr. I only have 2 Udyrs in the deck. I might run a 3rd one. I'm not sure. 2 actually seems pretty good for ratio, but I do now have 3 for the complete playset, so I was happy about that. But yeah, that was kind of my experience in going against the Kaisa players. It did seem like there was way more Kaisa players this time, and it wasn't just bad luck. It just seemed like maybe half the players I actually played against. I'm actually going to the same local game store, so I think people are just now finally done messing around. They put the toys away and they're down to ready to play for real, which is fine by me because, you know, I want to go up against the best decks. I want to go up against what people is, you know, they're best with, just so I can see, you know, how this deck really runs. I still like Lee Sin. I still think Lee Sin has potential. The green cards in Lee Sin seem really good. There is one combo that I kind of want to try out. I don't even know if it's any good, but I do think maybe in the future it might be good, is pretty much using this Fury of Blades, which deals 1 damage to everything, and then sending in Warwick, which would pretty much insta-kill. This and Warwick together in your hand is pretty much instant, you know, a full battlefield clear, guaranteed, because Warwick kills, when he attacks, he kills all the units damaged. So you deal 1 damage to everything, play Warwick, he enters ready, and then you attack that battlefield. It pretty much will kill all the units there before, you know, combat really happens. So those 2 cards seem really good. Plus, you know, using Caitlyn to you know, damage another battlefield and then sending in Warwick. There's a couple you know, combos you could do. Even with Udyr, that would work. So I only have 1 Warwick, so I haven't really tested it out, but it does seem like something that would work. So yeah, let's open up them packs I got to see if it can comfort the absolute butt kicking I got from the Kaisa players today. All right, here's the first pack. Albus Dumbledore. Nothing crazy. But a body rune, which the runes are apparently rare these days. Also, guys, as you can see, as I open up these packs, you can see I'm using a mat in the background. This is a custom mat. If you have a champion that you love in League of Legends, or really any character in the gaming that you want to see put on a mat, I have a friend that is an extremely good artist, and he can make a custom mat for you. He will hand draw it on the computer, and we will put it in a mat so that you can then represent it, your favorite character. You know, I obviously have Nar here, something from Yu-Gi-Oh!, and then Olaf over here on the left side. You can probably see it. But yeah, this is a one-of-one mat that when I take to the local game store, no one else has. And I can proudly say I'm the proud owner of a unique mat. If you want something like this, you know, just go ahead, send me an email. I'll put my email down in the description. You can send me an email, and we can work with you. I'll get you in contact with the artist. Hey, look, there's a third Tarek, technically my fourth Tarek. Oh, wow. And then an alternate rune. Super cool. Add this to the collection. Just need to get 12 more. But yeah, if you guys want a unique mat to show off your local game store, you know, send me an email, and I will put you in contact with the artist, and then we can, you know, work with you. We'll send you some, you know, the concept art. You know, we'll sketch up some designs and see if you like it. You know, make some adjustments. If you're like, no, I would rather it look like this, we can do that. You know, this is, you know, an artist who's, you know, trying to make it in the field. So if you want to support a local artist, you know, we can do that. I can open up this last one. This is the you only get these from the Nexus Nights. This is where the good stuff's at. Even though this alternate rune's super cool. I guess I got Teemo too. Having the hardest time here opening up these packs, because I'm trying my best to not damage the goods. Oh wow. Oh wow, another one. And then Voidseeker. I know this is wanted by Kaisa players out there, so maybe when I decide to try the tier 1 deck, I'll have a Voidseeker ready to go. That's pretty cool. And also, is this alternate art or is this just a regular one? I can't tell. I think this is the foil. This is alternate art. So yeah, actually pretty good packs, I think, except for maybe this first one, but I'm pretty sure these, you know, this is super needed, so save me some money on that one. And then here's the collection. Here's all three of the bad boys. I have no idea if I'll ever use these, but I just wanted to play set, and they look cool. Just trying to collect them all. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Again, if you want a custom mat like this one, send me an email. Also, you know, like and subscribe if you want to see more of these videos. I'm going to keep going over, you know, the decks I'm building, you know, the adjustments I make, the improvements, the cards I get when I add them. Unfortunately, none of these cards, I don't think I'm going to be able to add them to the deck, but actually, you know what? I could use this one because it is part of these colors. All right, guys, thanks a bunch. See you next time. Like and subscribe. Hot tamales.